The only problem enough if God don't play no music next thing then God stop me live again.
Right. We can't sing. That's how it go.
And all we God give talent for singing up. God give someone but
Like,
talent to
Andre, give
speak.
me no. But just feel say even just say go on, yeah, my girl.
Um,
Darren, let me ask you.
Anyways.
Darren, when I do like the ride along show and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they play music. How do they get away with it?
That's what I'm saying. There must be a way. Because I mean if music is in the public domain, we must can play it.
Yeah, when we do the ride along, we don't start no ride along without music. He always have. But then again, I think I him did a sing a song. You know, he always have. Me don't know, but he always have music.
Oh, I don't even know.
then I love
Anyway,
how authentic
guys.
you have remained with your Jamaican accent. It's
Oh,
so refreshing.
thank you.
All right, good
Thank you
people.
very much, Andre.
Mm?
You say
I've lived here longer than I've lived in Jamaica. But me
when
the proper like Professor Johnson with him twang master, me a country smarty.
Country me come from too.
That's where Professor Johnson come from.
no, all right. For box to me come from Bonnie.
I love when you say that, you see. I did that on purpose.
All right, good people. Good night. Good night. Good night. Welcome to
You're
Immigration
live?
Corner. We are live. That's what we do, authentically so. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Immigration Corner. Share this live. Share this live. We're talking all things immigration today. And guess what? I have some. Well, I feel like I'm always surrounded by lawyers. Tonight is no different. We have our lead attorney, Diani Winterfonde. Diani, how are you?
I am doing well. Good night, Trisha. Good night, Counsel. Good night, Professor Johnson.
Okay. And we have our host guest here today, Andre Johnson, ESQ. What ESQ? What ESQ mean? What, you know,
Esquire, where's the dog?
I, we thought you wouldn't ask. We just thought, is he just going to ignore?
yeah, well, you know, this session is about educating. You know, it's education, and so we want to make sure that people know. So, of course, we have another attorney, criminal attorney, right? Criminal defense attorney,
That's
uh,
right.
Andre Johnson. Welcome, Andre. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Darren. Thank you for the invite. Good
Of
evening,
course.
everybody.
By the way, where's your cup? Diana, where's your cup? Because it's tradition. So we have to tell the people what's in the cup today. So Diana, you're looking a little classy today. Andre, them classy today. So it look like say me man with my regular. What's in the cup, Diana? What's in the cup today, Diana?
Today, I'm having a little, it's not champagne. A lot of people call sparkling wine champagne. There's only one champagne. It's from the region of France called champagne. So in my glass, it's really sparkling wine. But you know, that Jamaica, you want both and say I drink champagne, but it's not really champagne, you know. But I'm having a Veuve Duvernay, which is from the Veuve family. But today I'm having the knockoff version. I would say get these for the holidays. I don't give house guests my good stuff. Like if you come by to visit, you got to be special to get my good stuff. I use this. It's like $12.50 a bottle, but it's not champagne. It's actually sparkling wine.
So the whatever it is. I don't want you to give.
That's a good question. Do you?
Because you know, say your brand. Oh, you know what? Every week I come in up, I bring these Jamaican brand. Somebody need to write them because I think
It's
this
good.
is marketing for them. What do you mean if this good?
So look at Los Boss there.
Jeremy,
Right, Los Boss.
Yeah.
Los Boss say more him need. Yes.
Right, coming up. But
Good night.
so you have
That's what's in a little Veuve in my glass. Something light because it's late and I have an early morning. So that's what's in my glass tonight.
What's in your glass today, Andre?
So I'm drinking a red wine actually. The name of the wine I'm drinking is Ménage à Trois. It's a red from California. Not very expensive. It's maybe like $13. I like a good red. I'm not much of an alcohol drinker. If I'm going to drink alcohol, I like a Moscow Mule. So because I can't make the Moscow Mule myself, I tend to have a glass of red wine every now and then.
Okay.
Nice. I like
All
that.
right, good people. So, true, me not go drink no voo and more sorry beer today in my glass. But Andre, tell us a little about yourself. You're obviously a Jamaican, doing exceptionally well here in the States. Give us a little background, where you're from, where did you go to school, and why law?
Yeah, man. So I am from deep rural Jamaica. Grew up in a community called Decoy, outside the outskirts of Guysville. So it's one of those communities that's
Oh.
on the border of several parishes. So it's on the border of St. Mary, St. Anne, and St. Catherine. Went to Charlemont High School in Linstead. Went to Guysville Primary. Then studied linguistics at the University of the West Indies before going on to study law at Kville. Before studying law in America. So interesting fact about me is I have 3 law degrees. I have an LLB, I have a Master of Law, and I have a Juris Doctor.
Okay, I'm leaving. Okay. Honestly, that's all right. Good night. It was nice to meet you.
I took the long road to becoming an attorney.
May I interrupt for 1 second?
Sure.
Me feel said Darren set me up and Darren said the only thing she all that. Let me just show. Now come up at your show. Go on it. Wow, commendable.
Very impressive, Andre. Very, very impressive. And I mean,
Wow.
deep rural. Like what's your why? What to kind of just push through and get 3 law degrees.
I tell people my why is my mother. I kind of describe my upbringing as a dichotomy, and I don't want to really go much into that. But
Andre, hold on. Not that man.
We don't know the word there.
Right. So you have to break it down for us because
dichotomy.
Right.
Yo, them people are over here. Anyway, so here are the things said though. I'm the typical product of most families in Jamaica. The classes divide. So I didn't grow up seeing my parents together. My father's side of family, they have a little money. My mother's side of family didn't have much, and they were not together. I was the proverbial black sheep for my paternal side of family. Didn't have much of a relationship with my father growing up. Eventually that changed, but I struggled. And my mother had several of us. I think she has 9 children. I'm the oldest of 9. So talking about drinking black caramel porridge to go to school. When I said black, I mean no milk, no sugar.
Milk.
And my mother would save hers so that I could come home and get that to drink. I went to school with literally $100 to pay taxi fare, which was just taxi fare alone, But my mother taught me kindness, and she always said education could get you anywhere, and that's the thing that I held on to. And it took me to where I'm at today. Education was my passport out of poverty. It's the gift that God blessed me with, and I realized that I had to use it because I wasn't going to stay in Decoy. Nothing is wrong with Decoy, but I had to get out in order to make my life better and to make my mother's life better and to build a foundation for my siblings.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive, Andre.
You talked, if I might, about the black cornmeal porridge and all of that and the role of your mom. What kept you going? Because I would almost think, and I want you to talk, especially this on the replay. There's gonna be some little child in Jamaica watching. We just feel like say, this is it. There's nothing out there. What was your motivation that said, you know what? I'm gonna fight through this to the point where now you have 3 law degrees. What was your what kept you going, counsel?
The realization that I wasn't doing this for me. I was doing it for my mom. Because my mom didn't have the same support that I had. And so even though I grew up poor, and I didn't figure it out until I became an adult.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah, I didn't figure it out until I was an adult because I just thought that everybody around me was struggling. Because my mother used to tell me that your belly is not a glass house.
You know
So
what?
if you
On
eat
that
green,
point, hold that point right there. So because like this right now, me feel it.
Profound.
It's
This
so
is a
profound,
profound.
as Trisha says, and me feel like Ian Boyne kind of profile.
Yeah. Oh,
And there's something there. So we want to.
yeah, yeah, now I see it.
So
Wait,
I
I'm
see
saying
about 31 people on the live.
I am
I
Faye Ellington.
see,
We
and
have
we
how
just
many
want to
people on the live, Darren?
welcome about 34. Jeremy, Ojai,
Just
Janet
was.
in New York. Welcome, Vivine, our usual. Welcome, Trisha. Jacqueline, see, you even getting invitations already. My
It's
friend
super
principal Shirley
fun.
is saying that you might need to come over her school
Go
down in
Shirley,
Trelawney, come be our
yes.
motivational speak. We'll talk about that principal Shirley, but get back into into your question.
Can I be Faye
You, you,
Ellington?
you want to be Phil Ellington?
Please.
All right, one. What
Thanks.
what should I say?
Walk good.
Until next time, what good. Right. Andre, tell us about, as Diana was asking, tell us about the
What
black
kept the black
marriage.
porridge and all that?
Yeah.
yeah. So as I said, I realized that I wasn't doing it for myself. I am my mother's I am my mother's dream.
Mm-hmm.
I am the fulfillment of what she wanted for herself, but
Mm-hmm.
wasn't able to achieve because
Oh my
she
God.
didn't have the
Okay.
support.
Okay.
And so I'll tell you that when I was in primary school, in
Mm-hmm.
grade 1, I was reading at the grade 3 level because I would take home the books from school and my mom would sit with me and she
Mm-hmm.
taught me to read. And so the grade 3 teachers would come for me to come and read for those classes because I was reading well above my level. But also, Darren, my mother would always say, I'm pouring into you, I'm investing into you. You
Mm-hmm.
are my dream. You have to go and do this. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. And, even when my mother was having children, because when you live a country, and you have a pitney, and you have a next pitney, and you have a next pitney, people are
Mm-hmm.
going to start saying things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
people would say, like, she a guinea pig, or she just a drop a pitney them so, and, but she never stopped. And let me tell you something. Like everything that I've learned in life about savings, being ambitious, I learned that through my mother, who has a grade 9 education. Right? When I left Kville and moved back to Jamaica, and I
And
wanted to
Kevin
take
lives
out
in Barbados,
in
everyone
Barbados,
watching.
yeah,
Right.
and I wanted to take out furniture at Courts. You know who I went to? My mother, because she had a better credit line at Courts than I did.
Mm-hmm.
And she would make sure say every 2 weeks she call me, Andre, send me money for pay Courts, but also a part of it was to be a motivation to my younger siblings for them to realize that I'm paving the way and they
Right.
can follow in my footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was
then
going to ask, do they pull strength from you? I'm sure, right?
yeah, definitely, and also just community, because when you grow up in rural Jamaica, you
Mm-hmm.
learn from very early the strength and power of a community.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always felt like I couldn't disappoint my community. I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, a part of it too is me just an ambitious youth. I like go after things. I like challenges. I like people telling me no because I like proving people wrong. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, I don't let anything get me down. And even if I'm down, I find a way to bounce back. I find strength in things that push me.
Right. So, Andre, what was life like? Because you say you went to Guy's
Yeah.
LLB, LLM,
What was
JD,
life like
SQ,
going through
all
the
of
school
that.
process? Because as you can, I mean, you can appreciate and Danny, because them always tell me I am enough, me in everything.
Mhm.
And to get that sort of treatment.
I did. Um, for a while, I kind of, I kind of, let me see. I wouldn't say struggle with my self confidence, but I kind of struggle with trying to figure out where I fit in into the mold of the Jamaican society. Because we really want to be too bright, because the stereotypes that comes with being too bright as as a male in the Jamaican society. I also had to figure out how to navigate life on my own because I didn't have a father figure around me per se. You know what I mean? And so I taught myself how to be a man and what's the role of being a man and, you know, standing up and holding that foundation in my family. And those were big responsibilities that I had to take on when I was a young child, and so forth. But there are different areas of my life that were affected by different things, like moving away from home when I was in grade 7 to go and live with family, because my mother couldn't afford to send me to high school, and that didn't work out well. So I ended up failing in my first year in high school, and I had to resit my first year. I had to resit first form because the pressure of being away from a family, from a mother, wasn't, you know, something that I adjusted to very well. When I was in high school, there were teachers who looked down on me because, you know, my clothes wasn't brand new. I was clean, but you could see that they were tattered and torn by the abuse of my mother's washing brush. When you look at the color and them, and you know, the pants were probably not too tall. They probably, you know, you probably estimate ankle a little, like them cutting our water, as them boy would say. And there were teachers who just, I remember a teacher told me, you know, Darren, when I was in sixth form and I got into UA, and I was just always one of them audacious people. That nothing really stopped me. I'm very ambitious, see?
Right.
And so I applied only for UA because I'm going to say this. I have 9 CXCs, but math is not included. So I didn't know from very early, say, boy, my career paths are very limited because I don't like math.
Wait. I before I even get to UA, let's acknowledge all of the people that are watching.
Yes.
And those that are joining us a little bit late. We have a rock star in the house.
Impressive.
LA have Shaq. You know, East Coast have, we don't know who, but we, Jamaica and Immigration Corner tonight, we have attorney Andre Johnson. If you're joining us, like and share the thing, like and share Immigration Corner every Monday.
And right now, I see we have like 37. You know what? This tells me people are being inspired. And this is the purpose of this
Immigration
show.
Corner.
We're not planning.
And we're here every...
Come on. I will talk everything immigration. I will call up people who we know can inspire and people who can give you information. Because we don't even get to his immigration story yet.
We haven't even gotten there yet, which is Immigration Corner. So tag a friend and tag a friend. We're going to take 20. We're not going to wait, but we're going to do a commercial break. Who we are big up tonight? Professor Johnson. Who's our sponsor for this evening? And then we're going to attorney Andre Johnson.
All right. So, well, we don't really have any sponsors tonight, but I'm seeing comments. Kadian is saying, Andrew, my classmate, I can't express how proud I am of you. You're destined for greatness. That mouth of yours was either destined to cost people or help by a law.
Oh, God, Kadian. Leave high school and high school alone. No.
Oh boy!
Actually, every side I possible could. Thank you, Miss Janet Rose.
Of course, Miss Janet Rose. I tell you, is a
loyal
supporter of what we do.
And this is episode number 4 of Immigration. This is our 4th episode. For those
and assist Saka from Manig.
Hey Saka, good night. Good night.
Principal Shirley, really dropping and validating my Andres. 4 is not an excuse, and you have to look at purpose now. Talking. Go on, Andre. Continue.
Andre, run it, Andre. You go from the black.
Yeah, man. So as I was telling you, so I applied only to UA. I mean, like you have to take me. You will not have no choice, but I'm have to accept me. See? So I got into UA very early. Like I was one of the first students in 6th form to get accepted to UA. So you know, I feel good because it was always a dream.
Right.
And one of my teachers, she never taught me, but she was a teacher at the school, and she said to me that, why did you apply for linguistics? Because you're not bright enough to do that course. And I was taken aback by it because I'm like, I've never sat in a class with you, and why would you say that to me? You know, even if it's a difficult program, give me some words of motivation. But that motivated me. And every year that I was at UA, I got an academic award because I decided that I wasn't going to fail out of university. And unlike some of my counterparts who were there 4 or 5 years, I was going to finish my degree in 3 years, the allotted time, right? Not only that, I graduated with a double major. And when I applied for a law program, because of my grades from undergrad, I was able to get a scholarship to go to do the law program.
Right.
But it was never easy, Darren. May I tell you, there were days when me you in a brother. And my father would give me $100 a month to buy groceries. And may I tell you, brother, by the time we finished that, take care of the little things that I had to do, I'm struggling. I have no money. So I went and work in the laundromat at the University of the West Indies because I said, I have to make ends meet. Not only that, my mother was ill at the time. So I have to help her with her medication and them things there, And then when I went to K-ville, it was, after UE.
So you completed UE. You did what degree you completed at UE?
Linguistics and history.
And what is a linguistic degree? That means a habla español, what's a linguistic degree?
No, linguistics is
that are listening.
It's the study of languages. So I don't speak any foreign language. So linguistics is like, when you say linguistics, you're almost talking like biology, right? So like biology is studying the cells of plants and animals and whatever. With linguistics, you're studying the structure of languages. So you're talking about things like phonology, which is sounds and phonetics, morphology, which is the structure. So what I'm looking at is using language as data, and it makes it easier to understand the sociolinguistic natures of language, why language is so powerful.
All right,
Andre, they were big.
Andre, no, we can't manage. We still, Darren.
Me match, yeah. Words.
Yo, with a joke, I know.
No, because I'm like, you know what? The conversation I kind of run well left me, so let me take up my notebook because that's how I talk. Take notes. Please, Trisha, notice that take time with me and Darren. Darren, not bright, you're bright, so you lost me at morphology.
Okay. So morphology is the structure of language.
Guys, but easy, boss. Everybody I beg for me and Darren, because they know we can't. We can't manage it. But on a serious note, a lot of people not understand the brightness that come out of Jamaica. People don't know say country people at Jamaica. I mean, this not town people, People don't know say people from where come from again? Bunny Hill.
No, a Bunny Hill.
Guys Hill.
Bunny Hill. No, this is talent on display.
This is where, and when we look at the immigration law, we could talk about a national interest waiver, but we'll come to that.
You not no man. You are morphology. Wait, let me get a new page in my book.
Dan, you're real.
Andre,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just totally blown away, by your accomplishments and the struggles that you would have gone through, but you still, held your head high despite the criticisms that came your way. You said, listen, you mean every semester you got an award at UE?
Yeah.
An academic award. And you were working in the laundromat. I mean, nobody know call laundromat at Jamaica. Like the washroom.
Yeah, man, down at the washroom.
Like the washroom.
Oh, they call it washroom.
Yeah. Washroom, like down at the washroom. And I mean, how did you balance all of that? With
Good night, Miss Donna Thompson.
Work. How did you balance all of that?
Time management is important, but it's also your goal. Just figuring out, you have targets, Darren, and I set targets each semester. So at the end of a semester, I would write down what my goals would be for the next semester. Because for me, one cocoa full basket. So it was the big picture comes from little things, and you have to do the little things well before you can do the big things. A lot of people want to jump over the little things because they don't see the importance in the little things, right? But if you can't manage $1, you will never effectively manage $100.
And you can't manage $1 million.
You can't manage the million. And so,
Amazing.
I learned to do the little things well. So like setting a time, for me, the way I study in increments. So I would study in 40 minutes increments and take a break for 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Because I have to do something else. And when I'm studying, you think I'm a mad person because I talk to myself, right?
Yeah, Andre, that funny, like me literally reading, go in front of a glass,
Yeah,
in a
man.
box. So me know that one day.
Yeah, so while
Yeah.
I'm at the laundromat, I sell token.
Mhm.
May I read my book and may I make notes. And somebody would come buy some tokens, or I need to take out the clothes out of a machine because them gone for too long. I may just take a break, deal with that, go back, go read, and then because I was looking ahead and seeing what I want.
And go on. So Andre, we finished UA and you went to. How did you make the transition from UA to Kville? Because Kville is in Barbados, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how did you make that transition?
So first job out of UA was with United Nations Development Program. That was my first job.
Mhm.
And I was working on a project that they were running in Jamaica at the time, which was aimed at the standardization of statistics in Jamaica. And
Mhm.
so what they were trying to do was to ensure that the ministries and departments across Jamaica, they were using the same statistics. And so, for example, when you would go to RGD or the Ministry of Health, they wanted to ensure that they were using the same data in the
Mhm.
processing of their information. And so I worked on that project for UNDP, and I was making good money at the time, and I saved a lot of my money
Mhm.
because I know I wanted to go to law school, got the law over, Kerrville. So save my money, of course, give my mother a thing a month time, pay my student loan, and so applied for the law program, got on the government scholarship program, did my
Mhm.
first year in Jamaica, then did the 2 remaining years in Kville.
Mhm.
But I'd saved up, right? And so I was able to take care of that by myself and with some support from my father. So I had to pay 20% of my tuition, and my father paid it every year while I was
So
there.
I'm curious. Go ahead, Professor.
Go ahead, Counsel. Go ahead.
So because you know me, I want you to get to the immigration story part, but not yet. So you shift. So you started in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
then you went to Cave Hill, and you did your first law degree at Cave Hill,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then you said that not enough, me not done yet.
Yeah. I went back to Jamaica and I interned at Myers Fletcher and Garden downtown.
So there was like a big deal law firm
Yeah.
because
Big
you
deal
know
law
just
firm.
okay.
I didn't like it. It
Oh,
and I hope I don't get crucified because I have a lot of friends who work at Myers Fletcher. It's a premier law firm, but it
Mhm.
felt a little bit elitist, and I felt like I was out of my depth there.
Mhm.
It just didn't, and mind you, I wasn't employed there. I was an intern, but I just didn't like it. And after that, I left and I went and I taught law at the Convent of Mercy Academy Alpha.
Mhm.
And the idea was to teach and then go to Norman Manley. But I
okay.
realized I could not afford Norman Manley and I could not get a student loan because I had student loan paying from undergrad.
Mhm.
Um, so my plan was, so I said to myself, what is the next thing to do? And I'm like, just go to school America.
Mhm.
You're gonna get
Okay.
loan. You're going to
Simple.
get a loan, or you're going to get a
All right.
scholarship.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
and I just applied for LLM and I got a scholarship. They're like, um, okay, here's
So
a
you did
scholarship.
your
They gave me,
LLM here, not your JD. You did the LLM.
yeah, so I did the reverse. I did the LLM first. So I applied for the LLM program. I got in. They gave me 60% scholarship, but
Okay.
I went to a private Jewish school in Long Island,
Mm.
Hofstra University,
Oh, you went to
which
Hofstra.
yeah,
Okay.
which tuition was like 60 something
Yeah,
thousand dollars.
Hofstra is expensive. No,
So
Hofstra is expensive.
So you want to know that the first semester of my LLM program I went through without paying a cent. I had tuition, I had tuition outstanding, but I didn't have it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm applying for and that's another story. Like it could take all night. I
Mhm.
applied for a student loan, 13 different times, and I got denied while I was in America.
You're a foreign student, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But my father lives in America.
So you came on an F1 visa?
Yes, I came on a student visa.
Okay.
Father lives in America.
Your father, you don't want to change. Okay, but so your father was living here and you came on a student visa.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to clarify though for people, it's not like you didn't get them, but you're a student.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was living with my dad at the time in
Long Island.
So let me backtrack. The first time I applied for an LLM, it was to Yale, and I actually got in, but I didn't want to live in Connecticut because I would have to live with family in Connecticut. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to live with family, let me live with my father. So and
Yale. Let me tell you something.
He's just glossing.
Yale, you know.
Wait there. Am I the only one who is just like paying attention or no? Anybody in the audience?
Sabrina and Leah say, wow, what a story.
Yes.
You know what? They were elitists and you're a rebel. Donna says, big up your dada and your support system.
Yes.
Janet says, family, friends, and everyone, please support our immigration.
Oh, thank you, Janet Rose.
I mean, and Diane, we have about like 43 people.
No. Not immigration. Andre, love
something. Let's go.
not me at all. Me just
love the elitist people there. Yale and Austria.
Yes, to get into Yale is a big deal.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want to gloss over that because that's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
You're talking about somebody who said I'm used to drink black porridge. The only people probably know black porridge are the poor people. I can't raise my hand. Come and know black porridge. I used to hate it. Right now, literally, I don't even want to drink cornmeal porridge anymore because it was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah,
just like you don't want to see
syrup. You don't want to see syrup. You don't want to see
syrup. Why name again? What the noodles something?
The elbow macaroni.
You know, noodle in a pack. Somebody I go type in a bag.
We know what you're talking about.
Ramen. I don't want to eat. Continue.
Traumatized ramen. Nadia type it. And Shanna Lee Swibbe says she know a black porridge.
Right.
So now you're at Yale. You did not Yale. You chose Hofstra. Hofstra is a reputable university in Long Island, and you're doing your LLM, and the LLM kind of helps you to backdoor into American jurisprudence, where you can practice in certain states. I think like DC, New York, and Cali.
Yeah.
Right.
Arizona too.
Mm-hmm.
Not with the LLM in no.
But anyway, in Kunam practice.
Keep it moving. We don't want.
So at the end of the first semester of law school, at the LLM program, I decided that I'm not going back because my tuition is not paid and I don't know where the money is going to come from. So
okay.
You know what? Come pick up myself and go back to Jamaica, yeah, because this is not really a workout. And as I said, I'd applied for student loan 13 different times and I got denied every single time. They would say, you need this. And when I send it to them, because remember, I can't get federal loan, because
you're not
me is a student. So I'm applying for private loans, right? So it's now January. The new semester started and I'm yard because I say, I'm not going away. I think about going back to Jamaica. And I got a call from the university and they said if I could come up there, and I went to the law school and they said based on how well you did last semester, we're going to increase your scholarship from 40% to 80%.
Whoa.
So that extra 40% took care of what I had outstanding and was enough for me to register to start the new semester.
Andre, when you get that like what you do? You said you talk to God, what you do?
Boy, Darren, let me tell you, sir. I say, who could it be but God, right? So overjoyed, grateful. But here's the other part of the story, though. I went back to my house, and as soon as I got there, I pull up my computer, and I'm typing an email, and I got a pop-up that says, "Are you looking for a student loan?" Like literally. But sometimes I'm like, sometimes I'm thinking a scam or whatsoever. But like something just say, click on the link. So I clicked on the link, I filled it out, and within 5 minutes later, I was approved for a student loan from Sally Mae.
Didn't
Um,
hear that.
and I got my student loan, covered my tuition, graduated at the top of my LLM class.
But you know what? More everybody just send a clap on.
Type in the link.
Like,
Big up Andre.
Yeah.
Type, guys. Type.
Jacqueline said, "Look at God."
Yeah.
Donna, there's nothing not too hard for God. And you know, I like the geography of the viewership today. Florida, Jamaica,
Drop
Canada.
a link and tell us where
Oh,
you are, so and where you're supporting us
excellent.
from. Thank you,
Right.
everybody in the chat. Paula, Tricia, Notice, Shanalee. Drop a link and tell us the
Tell us
flag.
where you're watching from. Where you're watching
Where you're
from.
watching
Jamaica,
from.
wherever. Right.
For chat, we're now at 52 in a immigration corner.
Immigration Canada is going places, you know.
We started last week was our first show. I think we had, what are we in, at 12?
but Andre,
Mhm.
I mean, you have a story that
Yes.
you move any. I mean,
Brownstown, St. Anne, St. Dacre in the house, Jamaica in the house, Philly, Inverness.
Philadelphia,
But you bring everybody from your area, Kingston,
Jamaica,
living in Long Island, St. Dacre in the house.
everybody there.
I used to live in Long Island, you know. I used to live in Nassau County.
Yeah.
Abuka, good night. Maryland, good night.
All right.
Keep dropping where you guys are.
So Andre, I mean, you've got the loan, and what transpired after that?
Graduated, applied for the New York bar, and they said, yeah, you're qualified to sit the bar exam, but you need a core course because of your law degree. I'm gonna say, here what? I'm not really gonna bother with this, because when me come back to sit the bar exam next year, if you're gonna tell me the same thing, I'm not really know if I'm gonna take it too well. So I'm gonna do the JD program, yeah. And I did the JD program in 2 years. I did an
university. You mind sharing the name?
I'm sorry?
Your law school.
Oh, I went to Hofstra.
All right, so guys, Hofstra for the 2 year. It's funny because I was talking to
2 degree that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the LLM.
And then I went
to JD.
Yeah.
A lot of foreign lawyers come to the United. So I worked in law school administration for a bit. And a lot of foreign lawyers, by foreign lawyers, I mean people with law degrees from overseas. And the back door into your law license here in the States is through a LLM. But it's tight. It's very
limiting.
It's very limiting. You got to practice in DC, New York, or California.
Yes.
And so that have changed.
And then the thing with the LLM was, because I didn't do Norman Manley, I didn't have the option of practicing. I would probably just have to go do some legal secretary work or something.
Paralegal.
And I wanted to practice. So I said to my law school, I said, listen, I did the LLM. I'm not doing a 3-year program. And so I did the law, the Juris Doctor. And you're an attorney. You know that JD in America, do easy. I did it in 2 years. Not gloating or anything. But
gloat. Back up. Gloat.
You have all right.
You need to gloat, because it's not like you stepped into that. You stepped into it.
Yeah. So I did it while there. I was the first. So if you know anything about Hofstra Maurice Dean A School of Law, I was a double minority. Okay, the black population at that place is maybe 5%, and then being Jamaican again, so I was double minority, right? But here the thing now. Here the strips, as they would say, first black male to make it to intramural mock trial finals.
And what is that?
So mock trial is where, when you're in law school, they put on these competitions that, it's, as they say, it's a mock. It's a simulation of a courtroom, and you get a case to argue.
Okay.
In my year, 200 students entered the competition. I made it to the final 4. I made it to the finals, and I came second in the finals. Was the first black male in a very long time to make it to the finals. Also, I got recruited by the district attorney's office in New York to work as in one of their specialized bureau. So I interned at the Nassau County district attorney's office, where I was working in special ops, narcotics, and gangs. And I didn't like it because I felt like I was violating people's rights. So they had me using my linguistics background, listening to phone calls and doing transcription and things like that. And then I left and I worked at Nassau Legal Aid, and that's where I found my niche for criminal defense, and realized that's where that's what I wanted to do. Then upon leaving law school, I got a fellowship. There's this prestigious fellowship called Gideon's Promise, which is very competitive. Like all the top law schools in America, students apply to this fellowship. And what the aim of the fellowship is to place aspiring assistant public defenders in offices across the American South. Because the American South is notorious for having poor public defender offices. They're poorly funded, understaffed, under-resourced. And so people who want to do public interest work like myself, they apply to this fellowship, and then it's like a matching program when you're in med school and you get matched for a fellowship. And so I got matched with 7 different offices. 7 different offices chose me as their number 1 pick. But of course, I could only choose one.
And you chose where you are now. And where are you now?
I'm currently in Knoxville, Tennessee.
You're in Tennessee, and you're working as an assistant public defender.
Correct. I worked as an assistant public
defender. Tell us what that entails.
So the American Constitution says that everyone has the right to counsel, and that comes out of the 6th Amendment. And then it was enumerated into law by Gideon v. Wainwright. So that's a case that made it all the way to the United States Supreme Court, where this gentleman, he was charged in Florida for breaking and entering, and he did not have an attorney. And he said, well, the 6th Amendment said I should have an attorney, but of course, Florida being Florida, denied him an attorney. And he was convicted and sent to prison, and he appealed to the Supreme Court in Florida, and they denied his appeal, and it went all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And they said, yeah, Mr. Gideon was right. Mr. Gideon was right. He has the right to counsel. And of course, they remanded the case back, and he got his counsel, and he was eventually freed. And so that made it into law that everyone who is accused of a crime has the right to be represented by counsel, whether you can afford it or not. And so I'm an assistant public defender. So what I do is I represent persons who are too poor to afford an attorney, and we call them indigent clients. And it's for me, it's the continuation of the civil rights movement, because what I get to do is I get to stand up beside poor people and be their advocate in court. I get to argue for people who look like me, who would not see this type of representation when they come in contact with the American legal system.
What would you say, Andre? I don't mean to stop you. What would you say to 2-part question? 1, that all does not include an immigrant going through immigration proceedings, because we know when you're going through immigration proceedings, you're not entitled to an attorney. So when they did Gideon did not, Gideon did not include non-criminal cases, because in a civil case, not included. So what would you say to that? That's number 1.
Hold on, we're checking for understanding. Jacqueline is asking, is that legal? Is that like legal aid?
Yes, it's almost, yes.
Right. So that means, you see, the class is learning.
Legal aid typically is for civil cases.
So legal aid is civil, and what Andre does is criminal. I love that. I love that. A class in session.
Very much
I want to hear the learned counsels.
I'm assessing,
And DA Dunsock, if you have questions in the audience, type your questions. We're gonna answer all your questions. And when we start make money, we're gonna have line where they can call in. Don't Darren? They can call in. When we make money,
we soon come. No worry. Just like you have to learn. You have to start small.
Right. And then thank you for joining us, everybody. We're not ignoring you, but Andre's story is so compelling. You're talking about from nothing to something, and he's here tonight to share his story with us. The man just got back from vacation last night and decided he's gonna come and grace us with his presence. You're talking about Hill graduate, Hofstra, LLM, JD, all the accolades, right?
And a student from UA.
You talked about everybody being under Gideon versus Wainwright. Everybody is entitled to legal representation in a criminal proceeding. But I feel like they left out all of that. They left out the immigrant in an immigration proceeding when so much is at stake. What are your thoughts, counsel?
I agree. And I think the adversarial nature of immigration proceeding, even though the federal government say it's civil, to me, it appears criminal because just the collateral consequences of immigration makes it to me a criminal proceedings. I think also the Sixth Amendment does not limit itself to criminal cases. It also limits itself to civil cases. And I think persons who are in immigration proceedings should be entitled to counsel. And I wish I could see the ACLU or one of those organizations taking this on and suing the federal government.
Well, you know what, Diani, that's a call to action. Because
I think we should go to ALA.
Immigration boss just became chairman over there of education at the American Immigration Law Association. I don't know. You know, that's how movements start. Something. You never know. That's how the man with Amazon he started in his room just like that. And see it go big, big, big. So sometimes it's from these little small conversations. You have these, you know, little ideas and it just catapult into something great. So
we have a question. Most of your clientele, what ethnicity are they?
So I live in Knoxville. It's extremely white, extremely white. And so I have a lot of white clients, but I also, the one thing and I don't want to say you know because that makes an assumption, but the one thing about American society is even if you live in a predominantly white community, the black population or the minority population is going to be overrepresented in the criminal legal system. And I deliberately don't refer to it as the criminal justice system because there's no justice in the system. It's the criminal legal system. And so even though in terms of the raw numbers, I would have more white clients, in terms of ratio, I have more people of minority descent.
And that's black.
Who lives there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Andre, what's a day like in the courtroom? Bring us to the courtroom. Boy from Decoy.
Without sharing too much.
Yeah. What's a day like in the courtroom?
So if you walk into court and I am in court and I'm representing a client, you're going to know that I'm Jamaican. Because what you're getting here is what you get in the courtroom. I don't have an American accent. And I'm authentically Jamaican. Because I am very proud of the fact that I am Jamaican. And I want people to come up to me and ask me, where's that accent from? Because the Jamaicanness runs through my blood. It's who I am.
I see people, Andrew, and I point out, when I tell people...
Point up, excuse me?
I point out that I never know what, because me I like I turn...
Let me the homework for immigration Corner.
Tell people,
can't manage it. We can't manage it.
You unabashedly, let me always write the word there, unabashedly. Do remain you authentically. See the man say, when him go to court, everybody will come ask him.
So I get work begins at 8:00, but I get to the office at around 6:30 because I just like being there early, get in my space, meditate. I will look at the files that I have for the day. So right now I'm a felony attorney. So what that means is in the state of Tennessee, a felony is any crime that carries a punishment of 1 year or more to 1 year to life imprisonment, right? And so I'm doing from A felonies. So A felonies include murder, rapes, serious drug charges, down to E felony. And E felony is like an auto burglary. And so I'm a felony attorney, so I'm in felony court. So the courts in Tennessee are divided into two. So you have general sessions court, and then you have criminal court. Every case that is charged by a warrant begins in sessions court. And so a case may set for several different things. Let's say I have a client who is charged with aggravated assault. And they're saying, listen, I didn't do it. I want to fight this case. I'm going to set it for a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is where the state has to prove probable cause. Probable cause means that the state has to establish the elements of the crime. So they have to show for aggravated assault that my client either used a deadly weapon or that my client strangled the alleged victim, right? And how they're going to do this is by carrying that person, the complainant, into court and doing, it's like a mini trial. So that person will testify, the state will direct them, and then I get up and I cross-examine them. And at the end of the whole thing, the judge makes a decision as to the finding of probable cause. So 99.9% of my cases, the judge is going to find probable cause, because the burden for probable cause is the lowest burden when it comes to criminal proceeding. All they have to show is sufficient factual allegations. So once the judge finds probable cause, the case gets bound over and it goes to the grand jury. The grand jury is going to do a probable cause hearing as well, but I don't get to be there. So I don't get to put on a case before the grand jury.
Right.
So then it comes out with an indictment, and then it goes into criminal court. Now, criminal court is a court of record. So in criminal court, that's where I'll be filing my motions. That's where I'm getting discovery, and that's where I'm going to trial. So if I'm on rotation, typically like Monday to Wednesday, on my rotation week, I may have 17 or 18 cases each day in court. And that would stem anywhere from a preliminary hearing to an OTR setting or a motions hearing, or a revocation hearing, a VOP. Criminal defense work is exciting because it's not the same thing every day.
Every day. What does Andre do when he's not in the courtroom?
I'm an avid sports fan, so I run a lot. I do marathons and I do Spartan races.
Wow, Spartan. How many marathons? What was your last marathon?
The Marine Corps in BC.
Oh,
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm good on a Diani yard and she has some big something so she run some race down Boston.
Yeah.
It's the ESQs in us. It's the ESQs in us. I'm sorry. It's the ESQs.
It's the ESQ. Yeah.
The PROFs don't do that. They'll
It's the ESQs. So we want to kind of help this plane land, Andre.
Yeah.
And you can decide how you're gonna bring it home. We're at the 52-minute mark. We really appreciate everybody joining us. I think they're really enjoying you, Andre. Them love it. I would like to know. I want to hear some tips. Give me some tips, man. I'm sitting at home and nothing going for me, and I just feel dark. What are some tips, or what can you use to help us to motivate someone?
Here's the thing. I say to people all the time, find your why. And people will always say, what is that? And I think I go back to something I said earlier, one cocoa full basket, right? If you're looking at the big picture of being an attorney, you can't, it's not always good to start at the big picture. Yeah, we know the big picture exists, right? But you can't win the race before you start it. You have to start.
Right.
So start doing the small things that's going to eventually get you to the finish line.
Right.
I think you also have to be self-motivated, and you have to realize that we're all going to fall, because I failed. I have failed. Nothing is wrong with failure. Failure is good.
Embrace failure.
It is good. Embrace it. Nothing is wrong with it. It becomes a problem. It becomes, hear me out, Darren. Hear me out. It becomes a problem when you fall and you stay down.
Yes.
Right.
That's when it's problematic.
Right.
Yes.
But if you learn from your mistakes, if you learn, say, boy, me two over this up on one big stone.
Me nah go back over there again.
Go back over there, so. Or even if I go over there, I have to avoid the big stone. That's a lesson you would have learned. And so when you learn the lesson, nobody just pack it with one side.
Share it.
Right? And use it to guide your plans going forward. It is good to write things down. Write them down. Have a checklist. Tick them off as you go.
You all should have been taking notes tonight, guys. Come on.
The other thing that I'll say is, don't be afraid to ask for advice. So Jamaican people have this thing with them, so I don't want people to know my business.
Yes.
Or,
that is true.
Are in too fast.
Yeah, but those who have gone before us, they have words of advice to give us.
Mm-hmm.
And as young people, I'll say this: listen to your elders. You hear? Because they have been there before. And so a lot of my strengths come from my grandparents because I would have learned life lessons from them. Also, my mother would say, now put your cap where you can't reach it. Learn to satisfy with what you have.
Mhm.
The
And,
right
and so, those are some of the things that I've used to guide me and to carry me to where I'm at today. And the final thing I'll say is always be thankful.
Gratitude is a must.
Yes, remember where you come from. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
remember where you come from, and when you get to where you want to go, help somebody else.
Right.
And you
Powerful.
feel like more and say amen. Like,
I mean,
in a church, this is
Andre,
powerful.
Andre,
This
I'm
is
telling you,
powerful.
and when you speak with such conviction.
Yes.
Anybody, if you're daddy, and all when you're not going, no, when you hear this story, you're
All
so
right.
empowered
So,
to really do well. So
Janet Rose.
I'm a procrastinator. What advice do you have for me, Darren, Andre, and
Oh,
Diani?
that's good. So each of us in 30 seconds.
Run it on,
The
Diani.
procrastinator. Andre, go.
Get up off your ass and do it. That's it.
Ooh, that was 10 seconds. Okay. You sound like Kim Kardashian. Work. Darren, what would you say to a procrastinator?
Do it now, because if you don't do it now, you're going to still have it a laga. So do it now.
I would say write down one thing and accomplish that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
One thing and accomplish it tomorrow.
Right. Son Don is saying, "I really appreciate this medium. This is very inspiring. Hats off to you, Andre." Shauna Lee, yes, help somebody else. Jacqueline Pat Shirley. And by the way, and what I like, the viewership, I don't know, low level something, high level people
But
them out there.
Professor, see the ESQ them and appear. People, come on.
I mean, it's a compliment from Pat Shirley to say, I love this program.
Yes,
Looking forward to the next one.
I think people
Cynthia
spend a lot of
Wisdom
time.
in Mineros is saying powerful words.
Yeah, people spend a lot of time not
People around you that
appreciating.
will motivate you. Important. I mean,
I made a big shout out. That's right, Andre. They love
bring him back.
Andre,
Bring
apparently
him
you have
back.
to come back. They
Bring
said
him
we have to bring you back.
And that's from a doctor.
You there?
Bring him back. Great story, Sharika. Very inspirational. People, you see, we're in an era, we're in a time where we want people to move forward. And so that's why we create mediums like this to bring people who would have gone through it, who understands it and can really help you, give you the tools, give you the push to do it too. Because let me tell you something. Down on the same island in Jamaica, we have some breeder talents. We have some gift where we need to really tap into and use. But sometimes we just sit down and nothing now go on. And you sit down.
And we have to, I think we can accept that,
I mean, we can appreciate that, but sometimes you have to find that inner strength to kind of just get up and do it. Get up. Remember when I was going to college, whenever I talk about the dust money. Andre, but the dust money send me a money. The dust money from Kaiser.
Which I just laugh,
The dust money. Everybody knows the dust money. The dust money, but I can remember, as far as I can remember, if I look at my email, I see letters that I was writing to Digicel and those big people, and it was a mindset because I was thinking, them people that might have money. I write them. I remember me use one big word. I'm in an impecunious position. Big word. I say one of them must.
Wait. I didn't write it down. What name? Remember spelling bee on Friday.
May I have the meaning, please? What's the root of that word? What's the morphology of that word?
Why?
But in all honesty, though, I mean,
Wait, now what
Andre,
morphology mean? And
Oh,
what
God.
morphology mean?
Jackie says she thinks I did some funeral something.
Oh,
Me
Jesus.
can't bother. Impecunious.
In
Like
any
I said
event, though, in
tomorrow, I'm gonna
any
talk to
event,
clients, you know. I'm gonna talk to my clients tomorrow. I say, I'm in a very impecunious situation.
Creation.
I have to increase my fees.
yes,
Yeah.
good
But Darren,
context.
before you close the program after, I want to
No,
say
go
one
ahead.
thing.
No man, go on, go on, please. Run with it, run with it.
Especially if for persons who are living in America and if you're in an immigration situation, let's say you're out of status, it is important that you don't get involved with the criminal legal system. Because if you get involved with the criminal legal system, there are going to be collateral immigration consequences that's going to make it very difficult for you to navigate that aspect of your life.
Hold it right there, Andre. In other words, when you stay out of trouble, left a bad company, nobody
Yes.
go there. Sometimes
Dog
you
look and push look,
then
especially
have a
dog
same
look
look.
and push look under the steam.
Right.
You
You know
say,
you're not
yes.
you know you're not have no paper, nobody go. Just stand in your
Chill.
yard.
So
Continue.
let me say this. One of the things that I have seen a lot, especially when I was in New York and practicing, was that a lot of Jamaicans who were out of status would get into trouble because of shoplifting.
Yes.
And it's a big offense because for immigration law, it's a crime of moral turpitude.
Preach. It's a CIMT.
Yes, which means that you are going to become deportable offense. And it's a felony for immigration law. It's an aggravated felony.
Let me break it down. See, I mean, if me going to Walmart, can you see how Walmart? So Walmart people is like Megamart.
If you steal $1 in Walmart,
it's a problem.
It's a problem, and you're caught. And you're caught.
Offenses. You're better off.
So what if? And this is hypothetically speaking. And what if I, go in and I go to court and they forgive me? That's still used against me?
Well, here's the thing. In Tennessee, right, you can get a judicial diversion, but that's at the state level. However, in order to get a judicial diversion in Tennessee, you have to plead guilty upfront to the crime. So for immigration consequences, it's still a conviction. Because even though it's white from your record, you pled guilty. You enter a plea. In New York, you can get a judicial diversion or what they call an ACOD without pleading, right? But you still have to declare to immigration that you were arrested. And you will have to declare as to the nature of why you were arrested.
Hold on, Saka said, enough juice me drinking there, no pay for that code.
So the first thing, Saka, is you never admit to your crime in a public forum.
Dada Saka said enough juice. Right? That is a good point. That is a good point because you have no intent. You didn't walk out. It's not a theft.
Right. We would have to look at the definition of theft.
Yes.
Did you take it with the intent to deprive the rightful owner thereof?
Intent.
And were you caught?
Right.
And arrested.
Exactly.
But in a nutshell, though, people, I think the
in a seriousness, I know we're joking and stuff because we're delivering a message. You have a green card, or if you don't have no status, we don't use illegal, no, we use undocumented. Undocumented. Just watching yourself, man. Just watching yourself.
Also, stay away from the domestic violence charges, please. If you're married and you're going to adjust your status through marriage and your partner can't get along and it has become raucous and a fight. Yeah, man. Just
let them crosses.
The DUI offenses as well, technically under immigration law, they're not crime of moral turpitude. But the thing people need to know about immigration law is that immigration judges really don't have they have a lot of deference, meaning they don't have anybody looking over them really, right? And so because you have to remember when somebody is deported, they're out of the country, so they're really not going to appeal the
And who's going to listen
deportation.
to them? Who's going to listen to somebody out of the country who's appealing and fussing? Nobody.
Correct. And so even though the immigration law says, DUI is not a crime of moral turpitude, you have some judges who will say, well, for me, it is. In my courtroom, it is.
But Andrew, we can ask you something.
Yes.
We can come back and take my job.
Oh.
My feelings are anything, but we can. But just ask, my feelings are Darren say, but yeah, what like say. Oh, yeah, so.
I alone have ESQ.
Yes, Darren, so I'm gonna show you.
No. I'm just talking from a practice place. I do criminal law. And these are the issues I face as a criminal defense attorney when I have clients who have immigration issues and pick up criminal charges.
Yeah.
So, not taking a job at all, madam.
No. I'm gonna come back next week. Monday night, 8:30, Darren. You can bring all your friends them coming out, come back over here.
Oh, Lord.
But Andre, though, in a
serious note, I mean, it's impressive. I'm impressed. I'm
truly inspired. Truly inspired. And I really want to wait. Say something to mommy, because I know she probably going.
Yeah, people are asking about mommy.
Say something to mommy that you would, So say something to her.
And over here, you only share what you feel comfortable sharing.
Right.
Nobody over here ask me no question where we have to answer. This is not that the show.
No, man.
We share what we feel comfortable sharing, and I'm curious, how is mom? Where is mom, and all that stuff.
Mom is still living in Jamaica. Mom is doing well. My mother is my rock, my foundation, my everything. For those who join late, I am my mother's dream, and I will always say that. I am my mother's dream. I am the fulfillment of what she wanted for herself, but wasn't able to achieve.
Yeah,
and
right.
so
I'm gonna use that tomorrow.
And so, the one thing I would say to my mother is, each day that I wake up and I see the rise of sun, I am motivated to continue my journey because of what you poured into me. And I am not somebody who is emotional, and I struggle a lot with being emotional. But when I talk about my mother and the sacrifices she made for me, it gets me very emotional. Because my mother developed long-term ulcer because she would not eat. Because when we didn't have it, she would save hers so that me and my siblings and I could get it. So my mother built grass, as them say, a country, right? Just so she could put food on the table for my siblings and I. My mother trash Chocho album. Many people here that even know what that means, right? Stand up on black box and pull down the dry leaves and do day's work so that I could go to school. So when I talk about my mother, my mother don't have any ESQ behind her name, and she don't have no doctorate behind her name, and a LLB and a whatever. But she's the greatest woman who has ever walked on earth. Let me tell you that. I can't tell anybody that, because I learned to read because my mother taught me how to read. And my mother sit down with me and teach me my ABC while my father was elsewhere, living his best life.
Wow.
Let me tell you a story. When I was at UA in first year in undergrad, and I went home for December break, my mother said, "Mama, see a book them." I said, "What you mean, mommy?" She said, "Carry a notebook them come." My mother said,
"What you know about you and mommy?"
Well, like, mommy, I just said you will work, and my mother was upset because she said she not seen a teacher marking in my book. I said, "Mommy, I just said you will work." I just said you will work at all.
I want the country up there where's mommy money.
I had to take my mom to the internet cafe to show her my grades on the UA portal, because my mother said, "I want to see what you're doing in school."
She cared.
Wow, yeah, mommy's on the live. Listen, mommy's on the live. Pour in at the pit to them, pour in at them, please.
Darren, when I graduated when I was in undergrad at UA, My mother might not have the money for give me, but when I go, me make sure know. So me I go back to Kingston with a Hannah planting, some banana.
It's what they have.
The final thing I say, when I graduated from UA, I was working at UNDP, as I told you before, and I lived in Kingston. And one day my mom called me, and I was outside. I was doing my laundry because my machine wasn't working. So when I went in, I had about 7 or so missed call from her, and she said, "Why me I call you and can't get you?" So I said, "Oh, I was outside washing some clothes, you know." She said, "See, I have no washing machine." I said, "You know, some washing machine stop work." My mother said, "Pack up your clothes and carry them come."
Oh,
I mean, from Kingston to Guysville. You understand? When I went home, my mother gave me a receipt. It was for me to go and pick up a washing machine at Courts. My mother wasn't working. But you see, the little money that I would give my mother a month time, she would save from it. And out of that money, my mother bought me a washing machine. That's the type of mother I have.
I have goose pimple.
I mean, you know, right now, I mean, I know what Ian Boyne has to say right now. I mean, Ian Boyne, in probably I say, you know what, we have to bring you back on. We have to something like that. But I mean, Andre, you have a story that is inspirational. You have this conviction where we wake up any dead cell. I mean, me don't even really have words now. I am empowered. I mean, somebody were very always upbeat. I mean, kudos to you, Andre. It's excellent. I mean, I don't have no words. I am so proud of you, man.
I tell you something because I take notes. When you take notes in a class, when people are talking, you take notes.
But you know, it's a call to parents out there. It's a call to fathers as well. Mother, wanna stand by on the pitney them, no left them. Stand by on the pitney them. One of them did tell my mother, say, "You look like she got teeth, you give me, you know." I remember my mother all have to buy cash pat. Look here. Stand by on the pitney them. Sometimes even if you have to go borrow, if you have to go beg, you know, you got teeth, but borrow or beg. Just at the sacrifice. Look at. I mean, this is Exhibit A. True and genuine sacrifice.
Andre, they want to know your age.
Me's an old man, you know.
Nosy. They said not to be
old man. Me's an old man still. I'm 34. I was born June 2nd, 1988.
34. Tasha Bling, call me because we need to talk.
So and I know we didn't touch on a lot of immigration tonight, but this conversation
this was a
this conversation was necessary. So those who came with immigration question, no worry yourself, because we are come back Monday, we are come back Wednesday, and I think, Professor, you can put your link in the thing if they want to book at this, if they want to talk to you separately.
Right. Just send me a direct message. But Tasha Bling, you need to reach out to us because yours look top shelf, right? But I mean, Andre, any
so Darren, I will leave one final thing with you. So I have not shared this news with my mother yet, and I haven't shared this news with a lot of persons. So this is breaking news, and it's an exclusive. I was recently recruited by one of the law schools here, where I practice to be a professor, and I'll be taking that up come January.
Are you gonna go tenure? Yeah, I mean, like full-time professor. Or are you gonna keep your?
I'm gonna keep my job, but I'll be teaching civil rights and a couple criminal law courses.
I love it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
You may call you professor. Immigration
That's
boss.
Yes.
That's it. Like Andrea, somebody we can take in an academy, you know.
We feel like Andrea needs to come round with.
I think so. In fact, tomorrow we should be in Turks and Caicos, but I can't be there, so he's gonna be there talking to students over there, motivating them at some high school.
Wow.
So I mean,
yeah.
Janet said, "No, make me cry for Ian." Don't make me cry for Ian, brother. Each other person, guys. You guys are my teachers in further my knowledge. Thank you all. I mean, you see, these are the things we like to hear. We keep it very simple.
How did you come up with the idea for Immigration Corner?
You know,
Somebody was asking, so I'm gonna ask for
somebody
them.
asked me how I come up. Well, you know, I don't know. Of course, you know my story, and everybody. I've been talking a lot about my immigration story, but I
Mhm.
started the consultancy business to kind of help people, and I we came up with the slogan where education
And
and
the
the
law.
law meets. So you know, I teach and I have an interest in immigration law as well. So I really see myself as a vehicle to kind of use education to educate people about different rights, different reliefs that they may have if they get themselves in an immigration trouble, and just to bring awareness in our community because 9 out of 10 times people have problems and them sit down with it. Them not have no
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And so I think mediums like this, you know,
And
it
I think
will
this
create
will
more
be,
awareness. I think the push also too came from you, Diane, and I have to, you know, me love give my rose them, and I really have to big you up. Diane have this program where she's basically training non-attorneys. She basically teach everything what you ESQ and you ESQ know give me as a non-attorney to really make something of myself. And I've been really owning in and developing my craft to be able to find that niche in the immigration space to really help people. And trust me, it is working. So to you, Diani,
thank
thank
you,
you.
sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
And
thank
I
you.
want I mean when I say thank you, I mean I mean it. No, look, I'm very, very grateful.
Cheers.
So
Cheers.
did
Cheers.
we
Cheers.
glass done?
For me, empty.
Almost.
And
But
we finished
Pour
too?
some, I pour some more.
Oh, mine
Cheers.
empty. Are we gonna wrap up or are we gonna keep going? Should I go refill or are we good?
at 10 o'clock.
I
But I
think we're
mean
good. We have
38 people. But I mean any if we have any questions,
I think yeah, we can if anybody have
just
questions
if
for
anybody
Andre
have any
specifically,
questions.
because Darren and I will
Before we go.
always
Do you have any questions for Andre? Anything you want to ask him? No,
because
is the
you and I
time.
will always be here. So I
Because we
want
have
I want
always yeah, so we can
to
always talk.
direct your questions to Andre so he can
Right.
Mitzi says, do you do mentorship?
I
Well,
do. I pour a lot into black students, especially young black males. In my office, we take externs, and I've specifically told my office that I am only interested in taking black students, and it's not because I have anything against anybody who is white, but it's because it's only 5% of us who are in the legal profession. When I said of us, I'm talking about the black population.
Mhm.
Um, and it's important for me to give back to people who look like me because when I started this journey, there weren't many who looked like me. And so I do mentor. You don't have to be an attorney as well or want to go to law school for me to mentor you. I've mentored students in Jamaica. I just believe in finding your talents because, and I'll make this point, a lot of people, parents in Jamaica, believe that the only way for their child to be successful is through education. Education is not the only vehicle of success. Um,
mhm.
many persons who are skill based and they make far more money than I do.
Oh yeah, me know that.
Plumber make way more money than I do, right?
Mhm.
And so what I try to do is just to encourage people to be ambitious and to have a dream, but also to help them in owning their skills that they will need to be successful individuals.
Andre, have you thought about writing a book? Saka is
This
asking.
one,
I
yeah.
have started. I started while I was living in Jamaica, and then I left that computer that the book is on in Jamaica. I've been trying to get that computer for the last 6 years, and I can't get it. And so I'm not motivated to start over,
Mhm.
right? I really want to get that computer so I can pick up where
You
I
left off.
left.
Left off. Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Do you see yourself as a judge?
I don't have that ambition for myself. A lot of people see that for myself. However, I am very comfortable with what I do. I did not go to law. I am not one of those persons who went to law school to be wealthy and to make a lot of money. And nothing is wrong with making a lot of money. But I went to law school because I really wanted to help people. Being a judge, especially in Tennessee, you don't have that power, right? A lot of people think judges have power. You don't. You have to go with what the statute says, especially with sentencing and giving people mandatory minimums and whatsoever. The person who has the power in the courtroom is the prosecutor. What I see for myself is really moving away from public defense sometime in the future to doing crimmigration. That's my goal.
I'm gonna stop you.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes into our conversation tonight, that's where I put you.
Crimmigration?
You're a unicorn, literally. Like, and that's my unique. That's my unique talent. The moment you open your mouth, I'm like, is that the? I already was gonna tell Darren. I'm like, Darren, crimmigration, because it's okay. You have immigration lawyers, and then you have criminal lawyers, criminal defense lawyers.
Right.
In the middle sits this unique person who understands both. And that's why when you started talking, I shut up because I realized, wait a minute, this man knows both. Because criminal lawyers spend time educating immigration lawyers. Immigration lawyers, we spend time educating criminal defense lawyers, which is why Attorney Miller is so unique in our.
And look at this. And Ojai, with you see him say is another Kevin.
Is another Kevin. See?
Listen,
another attorney we have in the academy. He does. He was a, and he, but he was a prosecutor though.
Okay.
So he was a prosecutor to immigration, and now he does a lot of removal defense. That's where I see you because you understand the CIMTs. You can do like PCRs. You're gonna be rock star with the PCRs. Like literally, when you were talking, I'm like, why is this man not doing crimmigration? No, that was like an hour ago. Like
that's my goal. I really want to transition to crimmigration.
15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Onto some other good things though. My alma mater, Abotnut Gallimore High School alum, they are having their grand gala. It's a night of elegance, Friday, December 30th, 2022, 6 p.m. And it's down by Korna-Replay, Holiday Haven. They have
Friday what day? Friday what?
Friday, December 30th, 2022.
Got
So
it.
yeah. $80 or $10,000. They're gonna have guest artist Jem Myers and gate prize and all of that. But the most important thing, I'm gonna be there. Diani might be there too. So we're gonna have a table. So I mean, I would love to grace some of your presence and just come out and support the thing to make it a success.
Yes.
But Andre, it was really, really, really great having you on. I mean, keep the fire going.
Sorry for eating into your time.
You're welcome.
It's so good. That's your fault for coming on and just like rocking with us. That's what you get.
Well, guess what? I'm an attorney, I talk for living. If I don't talk, I don't get paid.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Guys, oh my God. Give us a follow. Go to Professor Johnson's page. Go to my page, Facebook, YouTube, all of that. Janet has a young Black son who really needs mentoring. She was talking to a few of the New York Giants football players last night, and I asked about mentoring him. He told them no one in sports can or will mentor him. I felt so bad. He was brilliant, but needs to be pulled out of his shell. Really needs some help with him. Please.
We'll set it up, Janet. We'll set it up.
Janet, we can set it up. Or have him hop online Mondays and Wednesdays with us. And because you can have episodic mentoring. I think what turns a lot of people off is they think mentoring means now I got to drag you along. Mentoring can be an episodic thing where he comes, he probably does a quick Zoom call with Andre, does a quick Zoom call with Darren, he does a quick Zoom call with myself, and then it's it doesn't have to be this, let me mentor you for the next 4 years. When I mentor young women, I mean, tell them, nobody come on to my shirt tail for the next year. Like, it can be quick. Here's my number. If something comes up, I got you. And that can be so powerful. What do you think, Andre, Darren?
I agree. one of the things that I think the Jamaican school could do, and I know this person's in New York, but one of the things that I think Jamaican schools could do better with is um, teaching the difference between nepotism and mentoring. Because when I got to America, I struggled with finding mentors because I thought it was nepotism and I had to do everything on my own, because, when you grow up in Jamaica and you hear people that talk about nepotism and whatever, and you feel like, say, oh, if I reach out today and I say, boy, then I'm struggling in that area, what can you do for me or what can you help me with that it's going to be seen as nepotism? And that's not that's not the issue. That's not really the issue, right? But I think because we come from a society where nepotism is so big that I, for one, struggled with opening myself up to mentorship opportunities.
Because of that. See, powerful. So now we have him really giving back and is ready to help. So I mean, spread the word about Immigration Corner, because we talk everything immigration about now and then we'll mix it.
Diversify.
I think we're going to have some lawyer for all of the people, and because you have a family, every family have one auntie or one uncle who always a fight over land. We have to bring in the attorneys to kind of talk about that, how we go about managing that drama. And so we're gonna mix it up from time to time, but this is Immigration Corner tonight, guys. And
Monday, Wednesdays at 8 or 8:30, depends how we feel.
Right, because as me tell you,
it's a vibe.
Yes,
just a whole vibe.
We just come out all a vibe, and we always have something in a glass or a cup,
right,
or something like that.
Drink to it, and we just keep it going.
Dion, you're in Florida, right?
Tampa.
Oh. So nothing is not legalized down there?
No.
Okay.
No. But there are some court cases, though, that talks about the convictions. Because I have a couple. We had a case that came out the other day where they were talking about some of those convictions, which I'm using in some of my cases.
Okay.
Like with the edibles and stuff like that. Because I have people going through deportation because of some conviction pre the whole marijuana movement.
Yeah.
Those cases, I'm trying to drag them slowly just to see
what the law would be. Yeah.
And if it will be retroactive. And with AILA, the American Immigration Lawyers Association, we have a lot of litigation going on.
Yeah.
Because you can't legalize something and then educate people around it. So you have people that are working in the cell houses, they're working in, they might deliver. That's trafficking.
Yeah.
It's trafficking. So we have a lot of that going on. So I'm very nervous. My tattoo was legalized. See, that's it.
Yeah, man, legalize the thing.
Because I think it has to be
that's the thing. Has to legalize the thing.
Yeah, and I spend a lot of time telling green card holder and undocumented. So no legalized conversation. This is not about
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Good.
So nothing legal here. You have to go Colorado and
Vegas and Nevada,
New York City
and Arizona.
I was in New York City and I saw the trucks in like Times Square.
Yeah, man, they're there too. Them.
Yeah, go truck and come there. Go get a little van and drive. They're gonna Times Square go sell something.
Oh, Jesus, next money go call. What are they do down there? What people. I mean, tonight was really great episode. And
to our audience, if anybody wants to be a co-host on Immigration Corner, send us a message and you can join us.
Tell us your story.
And you can jump on Immigration Corner because we don't want it to get boring.
No. And I mean, it's going to get better and better.
Then say Andre should be a host, treat the hard way. See there? They answered already. And so for the individuals that inquired about the mentoring, send Professor Johnson a little message, and maybe we can do one day, gentlemen, 30 minutes with these young men in a Zoom room where we just answer them question and nothing, just even 30 minutes, and it could be even a 15-minute telephone call. It makes a difference.
Correct. And sometimes we might not be the right mentors, but we might have resources to
Exactly.
will
And
be.
that's why I love the episodic thing where it's not like be my mentor. It's more like, hey, let's talk. Because a lot of times I talk to women, I'm like, I am not the right fit because you're conservative with your practice. Me do anything with me you want to do with my practice. So I'm not sometimes the best fit for people.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And I say
that's okay.
I say to people all the time, if you want to be a prosecutor, I'm not the right fit for you. Because I am anti-prosecutors.
There you go. We're not the right fit.
Yeah.
Like when people call me to tell me, say, oh, I want to report my husband will come and get him green card and let me say, girl, I'm going to work for immigration. Immigration to pay my bill.
That's right.
I like when all of them come and say, then Darren, you're going to take all that case them. No, I don't want to break my neck.
Immigration, I want to go on, so.
Until next time, though.
Walk good.
All right.
Walk good.
Take care of yourself. And we'll
Good
talk.
night, everyone. Good
Bye.
night. Good night, Janet. Good night, Jacqueline. Good night, Ohio.